Hello and welcome back to OT, the podcast, where we talk about watches, time, and how to spend it. My name's Felix Schultz. I'm here with
Candy Pink Love. Sorry, Andy Green.
Jeez. Well, you've just spoiled my little bit, Andy. My little funny intro that I had all planned. And now you've
Do it anyway.
No, I'm not going to. I don't want it.
If it's better,
I don't want it.
we can always edit it in.
No, I don't want it. You've ruined it. We're being serious. We're being grown-ups. We're being professionals. But you've turned into Candy Green.
Yeah.
We're going to double watch Matchmaker coming up this week, Andy. It's going to be a great one. We've got two bangers, as they say at the barbecue. But before that, we have to take a little trip to the dessert table to talk about some candy.
Yeah, so Candy Pink isn't my stripper name, although...
No, it definitely wouldn't be. It'd be like Krusty Green.
Krusty. Boy.
Because of your love of clowns.
Just dropping clown emojis on your Instagram all day long. Sure. Let's talk about my new watch. We've held off for a little while. I think it's time.
Well, I think we need to say we've held off on air. Every time off air, I just get random text messages going, I love the dial. I'm so into the size. This is great. It's a whole new Andy. Like, I haven't heard the words Batman or Jubilee bracelet come out of your mouth for years, months, decades even.
Centuries. Yeah, I haven't worn that guy in a while. So what I thought would be fun to do is sort of grab a whole bunch of questions that I've been asked from the people on the Instagrams and answer them.
Okay.
Rather than kind of answering them over and over again. But I think it's also interesting. A lot of these questions are quite good. A lot of them are a little bit shit. But let's just go through
Can I ask
a dozen or so. Yeah, you're going to ask the questions. I'll answer.
The voice of the people.
Yeah, you can be the people.
Are you going to buy the yellow or the green one?
Well, I just say, like what I did, follow your heart. Get the one that speaks to you.
Why the heck do I like this watch? Can I
don't think we can do that. I don't like this voice. I don't like this Felix.
Okay, all right, okay. Why the heck do you like this watch? Was it hard? Was that a typo or was that just someone?
It was deliberate. Why the heck do I like this watch? So that was someone asking a couple of times why they liked it so much. You're only human, guys. It's a great watch. You can't argue that.
Oh, I thought it was why you liked it.
No, these are questions from people on our Instagram and on my Instagram asking me questions about the watch. Right. So you're the people asking these questions.
Okay, well, comment number 3 then. Those two were write-offs. Let's start it properly. Great choice. I'm 100% on board with the 36 over 41 on these. Did you try the 41 on the wrist? Too much color?
Right, okay. So I think they're saying too much color because of the dial circumference. But no, I didn't get to try the 41 on the on wrist. Obviously COVID things, but also Rolex things. You know, you hardly go into the boutique and have your pick of the bunch these days. But no, I haven't seen one of the 41 millimeters in person. They look a bit big though, to be honest.
Plus, did you know you wanted pink? Like, were you sure about the color first or the size first?
Color.
Yeah, so that takes the choice away from you, really. I mean, You could have gone 32, but
I could have gone 32. Well, someone's asking about the decision process further down.
Oh so gosh, that was probably me. What type of watch do you see this as? A weekend dress down watch or a daily driver?
I think you'll agree, Felix, but I reckon this is a pretty good everyday watch. I bought it as a fun watch, sort of thinking the pink was going to be a bit too much for every day. But to be honest, I've worn it every day since I've got it nearly. Like,
you wear it in an office?
I mean, I haven't been into the office.
But like hypothetically, you're in an office.
But yeah, I think I would. No, I think I would. I've worn it with like, the thing is, because it's like a pastel pink, it goes really well with like denim. So anything that's like blue, light blue.
Like a really blue Oxford shirt, it would look lovely with that.
White as well, it goes really nicely. Yeah. And of course, with all of my other pink clothing. So,
Andy,
I think it works.
Can I walk into an AD and buy one?
No, unfortunately not.
So you had to wait a bit?
I had to wait a little. Well, I called up and sort of expressed interest, and then
you're quite early on. I think you had like very shortly after they were released. You sort of,
almost like immediately. Yeah, okay. I said I want one of those, and then someone took it seriously.
Oh, nice. Good on you.
Yeah.
Andy, this is a question I've always wanted to know. What's your wrist size? The OP36 fits you so well. I'm thinking of getting the OP36. but in blue.
Do it. I don't think. I think my wrist size is around 7 inches, maybe just slightly smaller than 7 inches.
What's that in metric?
I don't know, like 17, 18 centimeters, something like that. I
Interesting.
think. Yeah, but I think it's going to fit everyone well. Like that's the misconception with like the 36. In a modern case, I don't know, it wears bigger than like a 36
Yeah,
watch.
I'm happy with 36. I got giant meat hook wrists. It's fine.
This would not fit you though. Like, so fun fact, this only came with. I mean, I don't have big wrists, but I only took one link out of this bracelet. So you're ordering extra links.
I reckon with one extra link I might be able to. Oh yeah, no, maybe not. And what? Hang on. What adjustment do you have it on? Micro in the middle or far out?
Yeah, in the middle.
Yeah,
No, in
I
the
reckon
middle.
with one extra link I would. The other OPs I've worn on like stock size, so I reckon this
Yeah,
one I'll be
okay.
okay with. It's here's a fun thing. I just got to get over my hand. The wrist is fine. I've just got very broad knuckles from my
Those big
previous
sausage fingers,
previous
big banger
career
fingers.
as a boxer.
Big-
You know how it is.
What's the next question?
I'm torn between the pink, yellow, and turquoise. So I'd love to hear your decision process, please, Andy.
Yeah, right. So it was a really simple decision. I really like the pink. I like the turquoise, but then I thought that's a pretty loud color, and if I'm gonna go loud, I may as well just go like 10% louder and get the candy pink. And then in terms of size, as you pointed out, it doesn't come in 41 millimeters, so couldn't even
Yeah,
think about getting it in
made it
41.
easy for you. Here's a follow up question. Were you tempted by the green, given that your last name is Green, and you tend to like getting watches that are green?
Off for about 2 seconds, and then I thought, no, this is a fun watch. I want it to be a fun watch. I don't want it to be something like predictable and safe. Like I think the green is probably the safest color you could get.
Outside of black or the silver. Andy, I'm hypothetical internet commenter number 8 at the moment. I'm curious of the actual dimensions and how does it compare to the discontinued 39 millimeter? Looks purty.
Okay, so there's a funny question to get. I don't have the 39 to compare it to, but I did just watch a YouTube video of someone comparing the 39 to the new 41, and it is basically the same size dimension wise. So
The
if
39
you
and the
missed out,
41 or the
yeah,
39
we'll
and the
link this
36?
up. No, 39 and the 41.
Okay.
I'll link it up. We'll link it up because it is, yeah, he did all the measurements and it was basically the same size as the 39 is.
Hey, Andy, you're going to have to remember to paste that URL into our notes because all the time when you say we'll link it up, it just never happens. You just love saying
Yeah,
we'll link it up.
Well, you put the notes together, not me. So Felix will link it up.
This is look. We've answered the next question. Did you have a chance to compare the 36 to the 41? No. Move on.
Nah.
Get away, internet commenter. Will you keep it?
Yeah, actually, 100%. I really like the size. The size has really grown on me. I love the kind of how brushed it is, as you mentioned. Sort of I own other watches, but probably the big daily was the GMT Master 2 with the Jubilee. And what I don't love about that watch is just how much polished steel there is on there. It's not that polished anymore. It's more like gravel rash galore.
Sandblasted.
Yeah, like I had a motorcycle accident, which I didn't. And I really like the brushed elements. I love the clasp. It just what I found wearing a smaller watch is that you're less. It has less of a presence naturally, and you don't knock it on as many things, which is pretty obvious now that I say it out loud. So yeah, I think I'm going to keep it.
Sure. What about is this a watch that you can flip for a ridiculous premium yet? Do you know?
Well, I checked because I had a mate say, "Have you seen what these are going for?" And the Aussie retail price is $78.50. And I had a look on Chronometer. There's two going for like 14 or 15 grand.
You could buy two for that. You could sell it
Yeah.
and get me one.
But here's the thing.
That's a
I
good
don't
plan,
think
Andy.
that's a terrible plan and don't encourage that feeling. That's a terrible. We do not condone this behavior.
Okay.
But what is interesting is like whenever Rolex do, their releases, there's always watches that are harder to get than others. And part of me just feels they just weren't banking on this being a popular watch. Obviously, they didn't do it in the 41 millimeter, thinking that men wouldn't want it. And they've only gone up to the 36.
No. Maybe they did think men would want it, and they're doing their classic Rolex drip approach. How everyone wants a new sub and they only release it in white gold first. That's what they're doing with this. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, but I think this is going to be the hardest one to get. Just saying, as I
Okay.
hype the prices up more.
Just because you bought it. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay, and agreed. My next question, is it even yours?
yeah, it is. Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
didn't
People
ask
didn't
that.
believe it. I've had that's probably been my biggest question is like, is that actually yours? Is it a wear watch? I got asked, is it a wear watch just yesterday? I was like, no, they don't do wear watches. Like, I don't,
Yeah, sure.
not Rolex.
Well,
Yeah, no, I bought it.
yeah. Okay, question 12. I don't know if this is really, who knows what's going on here. Awesome watch, awesome shot. What's your wrist size? Mine's 7 inch. Trying to figure out if 36 millimeters would work, i.e., not too small.
It's not going to be too small, and it's funny that that's the other big question I get. A lot of people just assume that the 36 is going to be too small, and I mean, I've seen people that a 40 millimeter watch. They've literally sent me pictures of 40 millimeter watches on their wrist, and they look massive. And I can't for the life of me figure out why they would think 36 is going to be too small.
I think it's legitimately, I think a lot of it is socially conditioned
Mm.
anxiety around sticking in with the crowd. And
Yeah,
I think you sent
100%.
me a shot of like this guy going, "Whoa, I couldn't go smaller than 42 millimeters," and the watch was like draped over
Yeah,
his. It looked like a 50 mil Panerai or something.
yeah,
It's like, no, you should
yeah.
be
I'm
wearing
like, you
you
can
should
go
be
to
wearing a
32,
34
dude.
millimeter watch, mate. Next question. Solid choice. Cheers emoji. Throwing on a 36 millimeter is a refreshing change from 40/42 millimeters. Every time I put on my 36 Datejust, I think, why don't I wear this more often? That's the
I don't
question.
have the answer.
Why
Yeah,
doesn't he wear it more often?
it's a
He
statement.
could be he, could be she. I don't know.
Yeah, don't be sexist.
True. Last question: can I swap Moochie for this?
Unfortunately, not. I'm not going to accept dogs on trade for this watch. But it
Oh,
did remind me of that
oh,
classic
hang on.
Sylvester
What sort of
Stallone.
dog is it?
Well, that's actually James McVeigh's dog. He left that comment. So.
Okay, so it's not like an expensive pedigree dog then. No, definitely not.
Yeah,
We couldn't.
fuck.
We can't hawk the dog.
Flip it. Yeah, some rare, pug or something. Oh
Well,
god.
certainly. I don't know if you're up with this, but the price of pets in Melbourne during lockdown skyrocketed. Like
What are you doing?
$5,000 for like a golden retriever.
What's it normally cost?
I don't know, like a couple of hundred. I got no
Oh, that's
idea,
terrible.
but yeah,
Just
it's like
adopt, don't shop, guys.
yeah,
Anyway,
exactly.
that's all we got.
Yeah. So what's next, Andy Grant?
We need to take a break. We need to take a break, and then we're going to get into our first round of watch matchmaking.
Ooh, can't wait. Today's episode is brought to you by Longines. We've been spending a lot of time talking about their Spirit collection, Andy. But today we're going to do things a little bit differently. Given the time of year, I thought we might indulge in some fantasy hypothetical Longines watch shopping. What do you think?
'Tis the season,
Ho, ho,
Felix.
ho.
Yeah, you're right. We've been chatting. We've been chatting Longines quite a bit, and mainly on the Spirit,
Mm-hmm.
to be honest. But there's a whole bunch of great watches, especially from their 2020 kind of collection,
Mm-hmm.
which I think this is a great exercise to dive into. So, the rules of the game: $5,000 Australian budget,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and the only other rule. Well, there's two other rules. The second rule: you can only pick one.
As Highlander said, there can be only one.
There can be only
Yep.
one. And the third rule:
What's that?
it's got to pick. You got to pick a watch that best suits the other person's personality.
Can I suggest a fourth rule, Andy Green?
There are no rules.
No, I was just going to say we should have fun.
Have fun.
Should
Yeah,
have
this is a
fun.
fun exercise for us.
Yeah, so we've headed over to Longines online shop to have a little bit of a poke around, a little bit of adding to cart. Definitely not a little bit of checking out in my circumstance, but you've got a birthday coming up, you've got Christmas coming up.
I do.
But I'm not buying you a Longines because I'm just not that nice. But I'll hypothetically buy
But
one.
hypothetically, if you were buying
Yeah.
me, what would you be getting me?
Well, I started off with something big and steel. I started off with a watch, the Hydra Conquest Boutique Edition. Do you know this one?
I do intimately, yeah.
Well, I started, and can you guess why I chose this for you in the first place?
I'm gonna guess because of the dial color.
Yeah, so if people aren't aware of this, it's a sort of a big modern diver. It's a Hydra Conquest. It's 41 millimeter steel watch with a very glossy ceramic bezel. That ceramic bezel and that dial are in green. Andy, for the listeners at home that aren't aware, what's your last name?
It is green. How did you know?
So, and is it true that you've got a little bit of a fascination, if you will, with green dials? You'll sort of gravitate to the green option.
I mean, naturally, like most people do, it's probably one of the best colors for a
I
dial.
mean, and this one is particularly nice. So the Hydra Conquest with green was a 2020 release, but the boutique edition has like a really sort of interesting brushed, sort of vertical brush matte green dial. So it's not like your typical dial. So it's a little bit special, like another green in my life. So it's a solid choice. 3600 steel bracelet. It'll look great on straps as well. For summer, I know you like popping stuff on a NATO every so often, and I think you can definitely get away with it on this. But do you know what,
I think
Andy?
this comes on a rubber strap too. Sorry, I think you
Well, the
can.
boutique I think is on steel, and you can certainly get the other version on rubber. But I think if you asked nicely at your nearest Longines boutique, you might be able to get that as well. And I certainly
Thank
they're
you.
really
Thank
nice
you for that.
rubber straps. They've got like a sort of a woven textile finish that I'm pretty into. But I've got some bad news for you, Andy.
Oh no, what's
You're
that?
not getting this watch.
Savage.
Instead, you're getting something a little bit smaller and a little less divery.
Okay.
I thought about this and I've gone, no, the green's too obvious. It's too, like, you've already got sports watches. You know what you need? You need something simple and heritage. And with Longines,
Okay.
there's plenty of options. Like, do I go the tuxedo dial? Do I go one of their sort of, that the legend diver? I'm like, no, that's too diver. But then I recalled your constant WhatsApp messages when I posted pictures of the Longines Heritage Military Marine Nationale of you going, oh, I'm jealous you've got
Banger.
that. I really like that. Tell me more about that. That was a hint to me, a subtle clue that you might be interested in this watch. So that's what I've chosen for you. Do you want me to tell you a bit about it?
Amazing. Tell me about this watch.
Well, as I said, it's the Longines Heritage Military Marine Nationale, and it's inspired by watches that Longines made for the French Navy in like the 50s, in the post World War II era. It's a pretty
Amen.
the MN. That's where that comes from. It's a pretty classic sort of design. It's like bold Arabic numerals, like really nice blued hands, like seconds, hours, and minutes, all blued, and the dials like got a sort of a creamy, really like patinery tropical sort of look. But what I like most about it is the case. It's really, really nicely done. It's 38.5 mil, and it's got a sort of a double dome bezel, a nice sort of rounded crystal. And just it's a real, it's a pleasing shape overall. Like, it's not too flat, it's not too big. It's nailed those sweet vintage proportions. And do you know what else I love about it, Andy? If you recall
What's
the
that?
ad read from a little while ago,
Uh-huh.
drilled lugs.
True lugs, baby.
Drilled lugs, baby.
What's the price? What's the price?
For you,
Yeah.
$3,050.
And you can't do like the combined birthday and Christmas present for me.
No, I should have also said that's another great reason why I've gone this. It's $550 cheaper.
That's bang for buck
Yeah,
right
it's
there.
great. And again, it'll look good on a lot of different straps. 19 millimeter lug, so there's certainly options out there for that. But that's what I've gone with. That's my Longines
I really
Christmas
like
gift
it.
to you.
That's a winner. You've picked a winner
Is
for
that
me.
yeah? You're happy with that choice?
Yeah, I'm very happy if that. Look, and it's not too late. There are still a good 4 or 5 weeks before the big day. So
Okay,
you've got time.
okay. All right, maybe,
You've got
it'll
time.
be a season 1 OT the podcast wrap gift as well.
I dare you. I dare you to. All right. Well, here's where I went for you.
Oh yes.
So we know the Longines collection pretty well from 2020, and I know what your current collection looks like. So
You
I
don't know
darted.
me. You don't know me at all, by the way.
I darted straight to the heritage range, just
Okay.
like you. And the first watch that jumped out to me, the Longines Heritage Military 1938, which 36.75 Aussie dollars. But I thought 43 millimeters. You're a big guy, but I think that's too big for you.
That's a big boy.
But that watch I really like aesthetically. It's that vintage looking one with the matte black dial, golden Arabic markers, and it's got sort of a gilt sort of vibe to that
Mm,
whole makeup. But I kept looking.
okay.
I then flicked and turned my head over to the Longines Heritage Classic Chronograph 1946, the 40 millimeter, sorry, with the silver dial. Again, a very reasonable 45.50 Aussie dollars.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the one with the blued steeled hands that pop against that white dial. The Arabic markers in a really kind of funky font
Yep,
themselves.
yep.
And I came close to getting this for you. I thought, you know
I'd
what?
even say they were Breguet style numerals.
Yeah, stylized. And I thought, great watch. Probably a bit too busy for Christmas,
Mm-hmm.
Felix. A cracker nonetheless. Then it hit me. I got it all wrong.
Oh yeah.
So I pulled the handbrake,
Whoa.
spun the steering wheel,
Whoa.
and I landed on. What do you think?
I don't know. You've legend over.
Conquest VHP.
Yes. Ah, yes.
41 millimeters, black rubber strap, silver carved dial, and of course the black PVD case.
Oh, that is a very good choice because I honestly I was a bit worried when you were talking heritage because you know what people like to typecast me into the
Mm.
heritage box, small vintage
Nobody
watches.
put Felix in a box.
No, whereas
Uh,
whereas really for Longines, I'm all about the VHP. I had a
I know, and look, so this watch is 2,000 Aussie dollars,
okay.
which is very very good.
Yeah.
I know you want to rant on about the VHP, but I think we should save that for another
Yeah,
day
let's
because
let's do
you
that.
love
Yep,
that.
and
Let's park that.
that's pretty close. I think you've nailed that. Like I love the silver dial. I might be tempted by a GMT, but you've done really
Easy,
well.
mate.
Look, I think, like you said, we need to wrap this, but I just want to end on a bit of a note. Longines.com. That's where you can buy all these watches. Free shipping and returns, Andy Green. Secure
Amazing.
payment. You get all that sort of authorized dealer sort of security with the
Mm-hmm.
convenience of buying it at 11:59 on a Saturday night.
Mm-hmm.
What's not
Mm-hmm.
to like?
Free shipping and returns. What's not to love? We'll link up all of these watches as well, so you can kind of see where we landed and where our heads went to. But I think it's a really great way to sort of show off the variety within Longines sort of current offering,
Sure.
like what you can buy right now. So much diversity. But we need to get back to the show.
Hello, Andy. How are you?
I'm very well.
Did you enjoy your break?
I did.
You having a little snack that you?
I was literally just having a sip.
Okay. All right. Cool. No more time for frivolous small talk. We've got some serious business to get to.
Yeah, we do.
We've got the first of two challenges.
Watch Matchmaking, the foundation on which OT the podcast is built.
Yes, the solid foundation. This one is a little Scandi dilemma. The Finnish landmark watch. This is some correspondence from a gentleman. I'm going to say gentleman. I'm not actually sure. I'm sorry. By the name of, again, I'm sorry, Juuso Raikkonen. That's JWSO. Hello and greetings from Finland. I have a watch problem and I hope you guys can solve the problem from the other side of the world. I turned 30 years old in July and I celebrated the milestone by ordering the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39 White. I saved money for that exact watch for 2 years. Then, out of nowhere, Rolex decided to cancel the OP39 and my AD called that I won't get what I ordered. Now I have 6,000 euros saved for a watch, but don't know what I want anymore. I wanted a watch for all situations. Now I'm thinking of a combination of the Tudor Black Bay 58 and the Longines Heritage Classic Sector Dial would be sufficient for his needs. What would you recommend? This could be one watch or two watches, but size between 38 and 40 millimeters. Andy Green.
Wow.
Do you like that?
That was something. And I'm not sure that you can breed watches, but let's see what the Tudor Black Bay 58 and Longines Heritage Classic Sector
That'd be a
like.
Tudor tuxedo dial. Totally can breed those two watches.
I'll have to Photoshop that up and link it
that's a
up in the
Franken
show
watch.
notes. Yeah, that's a Franken watch. So that's about 10K Aussie. I did the conversion, just under 10. We'll call it a straight 10 just for.
I've pushed that budget, just so you know.
Oh, wow, spendy. Well, I'll go first.
Yep.
My first choice. Now, he said 38 to 40, which is a little bit inconvenient, given we've just said that the 41 wears basically the same as the 39. But I think he'll like the 36 OP. So I'm going to just go right out and say it. Just get the 36 millimeter.
Look
Get
at
it in the
you.
silver dial.
You get a pink 36, and suddenly it's 36 this, 36 that.
Everyone's getting
I'm
it.
looking for a Panerai, at least 45 millimeters. I think you should get a 36.
Well, he said 38
I
millimeters,
know.
Felix.
I'm just
So 36 is not that far. Or spend a little bit more and get the same watch in 41. But I actually think he's gone 39 for a reason. He likes it. He wanted slightly smaller, and I think the new 36 case is delightful. I think I've made a great case for the 36 millimeter Oyster Perpetual just now, but I'm not going to go the pink. I'm going to go the silver dial. Lots of good stuff. It's got that new 3230 caliber in it.
Yeah, totally.
Rolex's new 70-hour movement.
Yep, upgrade.
Waterproof to 100 meters, perfect for basically everything. You're not going to go more than 100 meters with that watch. It's got the EasyLink 5mm comfort extension on the clasp, which is pretty handy for warmer days, colder nights
in Finland.
Yeah, and as I said, the brushed everything just make it a really good solid watch. And if you go a color like the silver dial, it's got those like gold surrounds on the markers instead of the sort of the white gold that mine has, and it really looks good. Really looks good.
I think it's a different look. It is a very different watch to the white dial. The white dial for me was more sort of like explorer vibes, whereas this is a lot dressier. So.
Well, why don't you tell him to get that watch, Felix? This is my selection.
I'm sorry. I was just commenting and trying to have a little dialogue as we want to do in this podcast, but I'll just shut up for the next two selections.
Just listen to my choices.
Okay.
36. Everyone needs a 36. No, I think you can. I think that the size will be fine, and if the size was the only difference, I think I would go the 36 over the 39, having tried both on anyway. So that's 78.50. There's change left over. My next choice is a little bit different. Breitling Heritage 57 reissue, black bezel, black dial on the mesh bracelet. That came out earlier this year. Earlier this year. It's from their Heritage Capsule Collection. Pays tribute to the original 57 Super Ocean. It's just cool and laid back watch. 6,600 is the price, so 6,600 AUD. That's well under budget. With that extra cash, go pick up a bunch of matching straps from Breitling shop. They've got all these really cool, I think they're like recycled fabric straps. They're eco nylon, something like that.
Am I allowed to talk?
Yeah.
They're Econil. It's a fabric. It's a fabric that I believe Kelly Slater, the surfer, is involved with, and it's upcycled like plastic bottles and microplastics from the oceans.
Yeah, see? How good's that? Buy a heap of straps. But I really like this as like an everyday watch. You can obviously size that bracelet up quite nicely. It's going to look good on the strap, on the leather, or on the mesh. On the NATO. So that's 42 millimeters. Again, I'm a little bit bigger, but it doesn't wear like a 42 millimeter watch would typically wear because of the way those short lugs. So I think we get away with it. Plus, it's also very thin, 10 millimeters, which I actually don't. I think it's less than 10. Their website says 10, but I actually think it's a little bit less. Again, water resistance to 100 meters, 42-hour power reserve on their Breitling 10 movement, which I think is just an ETA base, and just a cool looking watch.
Yeah, solid.
So that's my second choice. My third choice, something different.
Ooh.
Blows the budget by a few hunch on average. A few hunch. Vintage Tudor sub, reference 79090. So that's the it could be a lollipop, but I've gone one that's from 1990 with the Mercedes hands.
I've seen what you've done there. Do you know what you've done there?
What have I done?
It's birth year.
Oh shoot, is it?
Yeah, if he's 30, 2020.
Dang.
Bonus.
Yeah, that was totally deliberate. So I found a birth year vintage Tudor sub. Perfect. It's on Chrono 24 now for 10,252. So a little bit over, but I think for a birth year, it's worth spending a little bit more and investing in condition.
A nice birth.
I've owned this reference before. It's great. It's it's still got like half of the parts of Rolex. 1990, as we said, it's a really nice sort of last, I guess, nod to that old sort of quasi vintage era.
Yeah, so, that's more vintage than modern on balance. That watch.
Yeah, so it's still got the plexi crystal, got a matte dial though, which is really unusual for like watches from the 1990s. Yep. Most of them had like white gold surrounds.
Yep.
Not long after, still got a folded bracelet, which again for the 90s is pretty cool. And
nice
the movement
ghosting on the bezel.
Yeah, Yeah. Oh, the bezel's sort of gone blue with that ghosting. But the case is still really sharp. The bracelet is really tight. It's in great condition. Dial's really good. There's like barely any damage to it, and the hands match sort of everything. I think that's a pretty cool watch if you wanted something sort of slightly special and you were going to go down that Berthier route, which is exactly what I was intending.
Planning on doing. That's really
Well
solid.
done.
I don't think you can go wrong with that.
Mm.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, the only thing is that we're not entirely sure if USO would go vintage.
We're not sure. Maybe.
Oh, well, we'll find out.
It's his
Or
choice, not
if they
ours.
want that new watch feeling.
Mm.
Can I have a go?
Yeah, what have you got?
Let me just pull it up. My first open up the old archives. As is my habit, Andy Green, I've named these.
Okay.
This one is the other classic. The Omega Seamaster Railmaster 1957 limited edition from the it's a more available version of the one that was in that trilogy set. So
there was the ones in the trilogy, and then this was the one. Then they released them separately as LEs, right?
yeah, and I'm not sure
Yeah.
how many, but a couple of thousand at least. So there's
I think it was 1957 in total.
possibly.
Yeah.
There are quite a few around. You might even still be able to get them from an AD. I'm not sure, but it's a class. It's got very sort of that do anything mid-century vibe. So it comes on the nice flat bracelet that Omega's doing a bit more of. 38 millimeters, so right in the sweet spot size-wise. Really simple case, slender, no fuss, but cool. Like you get Omega's great movement. Really nice dial with some vintage sort of notes like the broad hour hand and those arrowhead markers, matte black dial. So that's the other thing. I don't know if he's into the white dial specifically, or if they're open to other options. Also under budget for 8,900 Aussie.
Gee, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I think it's a great
choice.
choice. Great choice. Next up, the follow your heart option.
Okay. Listen to your heart.
Yeah, a little bit of sleuthing on Chrono 24 suggests that you can buy the Rolex Oyster Perpetual 39mm white in a pre-owned condition for a slight premium above retail.
Wow. What are you encouraging here?
Well, he wanted to buy a watch. Rolex stopped making the watch. Buy the watch.
Fair.
Like that's what I sort of think. Like if you had your heart set on this watch, I would be concerned that getting another watch would be like the consolation prize, whatever it was. Like I know that like I've sort of really wanted to watch, and for whatever reason I couldn't get it, and I've sort of gone for something else. I have that's tainted my feelings of it. So if you can stump up another grand or so, maybe a bit more depending on I'm not saying you pay those silly premiums for like the NOS versions, but just get a pre-owned Rolex. I mean, they're tough enough. It doesn't. And it's not going to be an old watch, so I don't think there's too much risk involved there necessarily. You'll probably be the one you're happy with. So that's what I suggest.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair play.
Yeah, like I mean, it's an option. And along
yeah,
those
it is
lines,
an option. Yeah.
These are all options. And the third one is the watch that reminds me the most of the OP39, another Rolex, Andy Green. Not quite a Berthier, but you might be able to do that. The sporty option, the Explorer 2 Polar. So this is a little bit. It's still got that classic Rolex vibe. This is a 1994 version, so you got tritium dial, nice sort of fading on the hour markers. You get the red GMT hand. Don't know if we're going to be down for that engraved 24-hour bezel. That's a bit of a polarizing feature for some people, but if you want a versatile everyday landmark milestone watch, it's this. That's what I reckon.
Yeah, interesting. You can't go wrong with a Polar Explorer 2 from the 90s.
No, and I think in terms of having something that will go up over time and will get better with age, that's a great choice.
Yeah, that's really solid.
Yeah.
What do you think of my three?
I think they're all good. What do I like the most? What did you have again? Please refresh.
OP36 silver, or any other color he wants. The Breitling Heritage 57 reissue with the black, or the vintage Berthier Tudor sub.
Got to be the Berthier. I reckon.
So.
I think it's Like certainly that brief of milestone watch. It's like Rolex is clearly there for a reason.
Mm.
I think you get that with a Tudor sub, and he was into the Black Bay 58, so he's kind of getting the OG 58 in some ways with a vintage sub as well.
In some ways, yes. I think for you, the 39 OP, buy it.
Do you know what, like? Do you agree? I mean,
I get it.
it's kind of
It's,
cheating the game a bit, but you can still get
I
it.
mean,
Like,
as we change the title to Rolex Oyster Perpetuals, because that's all we're talking about. No, I get it. If it's discontinued and it's not a crazy price over list anyway, I don't hate that as an option. I
yep,
mean, the 39 was sort of it's still a few grand, but they're not making any more, and they only made it for a few years. So even if you kind of speculated a little bit, you can imagine that the price might continue to go up.
yeah, and I mean, we've certainly, and if presumably are inferring that they didn't want the other options presented by the Rolex boutique. Like, hopefully the boutique said, "Look, this is no longer available, but we can put you down for a new 41 or something like that."
Mm.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
Sorry, Felix, can we hit pause for a moment? I just need to top up.
what's in your cup?
Inglewood Coffee Roasters, of course. I've just finished my cup of their Ethiopian filter roast, which is perfect for my V60, but I think I might make a double espresso. This time I'll test out their Sunset Boulevard blend.
Yeah, good call. I'm busy chilling out with a coldie of their Ethiopian filter at the moment. Refreshing bergamot notes, sweet and tropicale. What's not to like?
Yeah, so here's the deal. Use OT30, that's OT30, for 30% off your order at checkout. On top of that, Inglewood Coffee Roasters offer free shipping on all Victorian orders and Australia-wide when you spend over $50.
Head to inglewoodcoffeeroasters.com.au to place an order today. We will link that up. OT the podcast, fueled by Inglewood Coffee Roasters.
All right, we are back.
Welcome
are
back.
back.
Are we?
Welcome back. We're back. We're back. Second challenge, second watch matchmaker. Gee, we're cramming a lot in today. So this email reads, it's from Louis. He says, "Hey guys, fan of the show from the US of A.
Hello, Louis. Good job, you guys. Well done.
Interested in your watch matchmaker. So here's the thing. Looking for a watch that I can wear every day, pool or board meeting. I'm an entrepreneur. Basically make my own schedule. I dress in a whole lot of white jeans, denim shirts, blazers with Vans. I love Patrick Johnson Taylors, which is what brought me to the show. We'll have to link that up. Yeah. Link that up, Felix, one of our early episodes.
Yep.
I have a 2-year-old, and I love seeing this watch being his once I get my rose gold Royal Oak. Sick.
So he's getting the Royal Oak, and this is a watch that will one day be passed on to the 2-year-old.
To the 2-year-old who will be older than 2 when he gets it. So this is the 6 at least. Placeholder piece. Yeah. I like leather bands and NATO straps for my watches. I love the Black Bay 36mm. Oh, cool. And I even love the new Blue 58, which when I tried it on. I'm also into Cartier and Rolex, even, JLC Reversos and various RWCs.
Okay.
Currently owns a Cartier tank, which was his wedding watch, and the budget healthy, $20,000.
That's big money. That's like 27 Aussie-ish.
Yeah, a little bit more, man. 28, 29.
Well, right. Well, okay, Andy. Let's start spending some other people's money.
Yeah, so I'll kick it off.
Please
with my first pick.
Talk to me a little bit about what's your where have you gone with this in terms of overarching rationale for Louis' select?
Okay, so I've gone. He's an entrepreneur, so he's making his own money, so he can just work a little bit harder and increase that budget.
Sell a few more.
He's going to need to. Okay. He's going to need to for this one.
Okay.
I've thought he's an entrepreneur, and I thought the perfect sort of piece for it's going to be long term, but also for that sort of early 30s up and coming businessman is probably the Rolex Yachtmaster on Oyster Flex, rose gold or Ever-Rose, sorry, but 37mm.
Interesting choice.
37mm. Everyone's getting small watches now that I've discovered the beauty of the 36. But this is a larger watch,
it's
right?
It's a sports watch, so it's got to be 37.
Yeah, so add that extra millimeter. The other one they do is like 40 and I think 42 in the white gold. The 40s, I think it's a bit too big. I think it's a bit too big for what it is. The Yachtmaster's always been a watch that looks better in that slightly smaller proportions. That's why it's always been slightly smaller. But I think at 32,750 Aussie dollars, look, there are a few kicking around, and they actually do sell for a little bit below retail if you wanted to hop onto, Chrono or whatever and get one.
Yep.
So you don't have to spend. But if you want that new price, and I think you would get it new, it'd be a cool watch to buy new, get it all fitted up.
Yep.
But you can wear it in the boardroom because it's,
A
got that
Rolex,
matte
gold
black
Rolex,
ceramic bezel. Yeah. It's got, I think it's black ceramic. It's gold, but it's not too gold. And it's on that, Oyster Flex, which is really cool. And, I don't think will ever disintegrate or break, and you probably will never need to replace it. And it's a Rolex, so it's going to last forever.
Sure. That's a solid choice.
Yeah. So that's the first one.
Okay.
Can happen in his budget. The second one, I ignored the pooled element, just because there are solutions to watches you can't wear in the pool, and
Like
it's
taking
just
your
called
watch off?
taking it off.
Sure.
Yeah, exactly. Santos Dumont from Cartier, the large model with their manufacture movement.
Uh-huh.
So manual wind, but it's the rose gold model on leather, $26,100, including your taxes.
That's Australian tax. I'm assuming that might
Australian
be different in
tax.
America.
Yeah, so that is just a classy watch. It's got, it's the Santos Dumont, but this is a really special one because I think it's one of the only mechanical watches within that line in terms of the manual one movement. Obviously, it's in the gold, but it's got those better sort of proportions. What else can I say? 18 karat rose gold.
I like
Again,
that it's
great watch.
that you're doubling down on Cartier. I think that's a nice little they've got a wedding watch that's a Cartier, so it's nice to have a second Cartier as well. Like it's you build that sort of lineage and legacy within your own family.
Exactly. Wouldn't it be great for sort of his son to inherit a similar watch to Dad's wedding watch and sort of have that bond one day. So I really like that as a choice.
Yep. You've got a lot of gold here. Have you done this just because of the budget, or
yeah, I think so.
You've just got more money to spend, so he's spending it.
Go the precious metal. If you're going to be spending, $30,000, get a precious metal watch. That's what I think.
All right.
Because the reality is there are so many good watches. Like it doesn't have to be a $100,000 watch or a $60,000 watch or whatever selling at a premium. Like you can get great watches in precious metal, and that's the thing is like you look at the hype on some steel watches and they cost more than these great
like
gold watches.
your traditional sort of Aquanauts and Nautiluses that maybe 5-10 years ago would be the go-to for this out of budget, massively out of budget, which is crazy. Anyway, what's your next watch?
Okay, so my last choice is an Omega 300 meter Coaxial master chronometer. So there's a twist, as we might suspect. Sedna gold on the rubber strap.
More gold. Gold.
This time blue dial, blue bezel, blue rubber strap, and that sort of Sedna gold. Now, again, same sort of vein as the Yachtmaster, but maybe you didn't want to have that Rolex logo slapped on your wrist. Maybe you wanted something in gold, but a little bit more low key.
I don't know if this is more low key. I'm calling it. I reckon this is like on the wrist. This is a lot of watch.
It's pretty hefty. It's 42 millimeters. Comes on the blue strap, which matches the dial and the bezel. It's a little bit larger. You're right. Also more practical, 300-meter water resistant, so it's perfect for the pool. Again, you could literally just leave this watch on all the time, even with the 2-year-old. The price is
beat it up as well, like scratch.
Yeah.
Anyway,
exactly. Beat it up, and the price is $35,325 retail. Now, again, that is quite a bit over, but I have seen them again for the budget. High 20s.
Yeah, okay. Something else I think between this and the Yachtmaster, they're very, on paper they're similar, but the bezel and the dial on the Omega are high gloss, whereas there's both matte on the Rolex. So, different strokes for different finishes. Can I have a go?
Cool look though.
Yeah, I like it. I'm a big fan. Interesting that you've gone, like you said, he likes leather and NATOs, and you've gone to rubber.
Sometimes we just forget all of the details that come through, and we.
But also, I mean, that Omega. I mean, the Rolex is sort of more locked into the rubber, but on the Omega, you can easily.
100%. Oh my god, 100%.
Yeah,
100%. You'd put that on a NATO strap. I think the Omega, because it does weigh a little bit more. I think you probably almost prefer it on.
All right. Do you want to know what I've gone with?
Yep.
And again, I have named my 3 choices appropriately. I'm starting with a gold goals.
Gold goals.
Basically,
you've gone gold.
The gold watch, like the iconic gold watch, 36 millimeter Rolex Day Date yellow gold.
Love it.
Some sort of champagne dial. Like there's a lot around in this budget, like not the super rare, super new stuff. So you're looking at something that's been gently worn or a little bit of an older vintage model, but you can get a really nice yellow gold 36 millimeter day date, and it's why mess around? That's what I say. It's
That's a great watch to hand down. I
Yeah.
did it. This was my first stop, actually.
like it's just a classic in every sense, and I think it's a really nice pair with that Royal Oak when you get it. It is an everyday watch. Like if you want to wear it, you buy it on the bracelet, buy the best bracelet you can, and I'd suggest getting a sort of a mechanically newer one as possible. Maybe not one of the 1803s.
Uh-huh.
You know, pop it on a leather strap, super versatile. Like you can dress it down, dress it up. I mean, you could even wear it on the right NATO. I reckon on like a sort of a nice sort of khaki olive green. That'd be a really stealthy option. But you want the bracelet there for that sort of proper day date. I just think,
Prezi plain Jane.
yeah. I mean,
Another,
wear it with a denim shirt, you know, white jeans, Vans. It's a great look.
get it serviced. You can swim with it. Use that extra money in the bouget to get it serviced and
Yeah, sure.
get the
I
seals
think
checked.
you'd certainly want to do that. You know, buy it from someone reputable. Yeah, maybe Craft and Tailored, one of our previous guests. So what do you think? Yeah, that's where I immediately went. Like that's with
I
that
mean,
money.
what can I say? Another 36 millimeter Rolex. I love it.
I promise it's my last 36 millimeter Rolex, or is it? The next one's a little bit bigger at 38, and I've like to call this one the elevator to diver. So, you know, you like the Black Bay 58. Why not spend a little bit more and get the Blancpain 50 fathoms bathyscaphe? Again,
yeah.
it's like people. I think the 50 fathoms. I often think they're really big watches, but this one,
They are.
this one's not 38 mil,
Huh?
11 mil thin. It's quite thin. 20 millimeter lugs.
Love it.
Black sort of sunburst style, classy watch. Super versatile. They ship it on like sailcloth, nylon, you know, leather, but you know you can wear it on whatever you want because it's a black dial diver. 13,200 Aussie, so super under budget.
Jeez, there's a lot of budget left.
Yeah, like it's versatile. The one I really wanted, but would be hard to get, would be the Hodinkee edition with the Arabic numerals. But that would be tough. So
did that come in 38 mil as well?
Yep, exactly the same sort of dimensions as this, but you know, matte dial and no date.
Geez, that's a choice, isn't it?
I
That's
like
good.
it. I'm into that choice. Like it's just it's you know, it's a sort of one you can wear it doing anything, and people aren't necessarily going to notice it unless they're sort of, you know, into watches, and they're like, oh, that's a nice watch. You know, cool movement as well. Finally, Andy Green. This is a little bit of an outlier, but I've called it the classy option. This is a Jaeger LeCoultre Memovox, a boutique edition. Boutique. You only get it from the old boutique. You'll probably have to buy it from the secondary market these days because it's a few years old, from about 2018. So it's a Memovox. So it's an alarm complication. It's a larger, you know, sort of 40 millimeters, but it wears big thanks to those jewel crowns. This is a one that had a really, really stunning blue dial with quite a sort of mid-century straight batten. So it's a really, really striking design. It's uncommon. It's cool. It's like not something you see every day. It's a talking point. Great pedigree mark. Not too much water resistance though. And like again, you know, 50 meters and you know leather strap. Maybe take this one off before you go in the pool, or you know, go out for a hike or whatever. But also under budget at 17.5 Aussie, the one I found on Chrono.
Okay.
So yeah,
not bad.
And I like that one. Do you know old mate DC?
I do.
He's got one of these, I think, or he had one at some point.
He does. He did.
So
he did.
He did. He's a classy guy. So when I think of classy guys with Memovoxes, I think of this watch.
Also a bit of an entrepreneur. So
oh yes. So there you go. There's my three selects. What do you think of those?
I mean, I think I go straight to the day date. I think for the budget, you can still get a really great example, and you can probably go a little bit newer than the 1980 guy you've pulled out.
Yeah, that was just a placeholder, really. Like, I mean, you can go colours and Romans or Battens, or there's a lot of. Half the fun is also having a bit of a look around, I reckon, too.
Yeah, totally. There's definitely there's plenty of options up to sort of 30 grand. Yeah, unless you're going sort of stellar dials or rarer materials for the dial, it's still doable. Even low 30s, you can get sort of early 2000 pieces, which again, it's like a brand new watch.
Yeah.
What do you think of mine?
So you're going the day date?
Yeah, I'll go the day
You
date.
weren't tempted by the Bathyscaphe? I was pretty tempted by the Bathyscaphe, but I think I'd go the day date too. What do I think?
I just think for the budget, it's half his budget. I think he wants to spend a bit more.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Look, I actually think the most on brief one out of yours, the Cartier is a nice. It's a nice, like the sentimental reasons behind it, I quite like, but I think the Omega's the right fit for me.
Oh wow, okay.
And
Didn't
also,
like the Yachtmaster.
I like the Omega more. And also, there's other colors. I don't know if you mentioned that. Like we sort of selected the blue, but if he likes black, he can go black. If he likes other colors, he can go other colors. So yeah, that's what I'd go. And I think it's mechanically, it's better than that Rolex.
Ooh.
I would say.
Omega versus Rolex. Felix has got his money on Omega.
Well, for this one, yeah. I mean, it might be a bit too flashy, but again, put it on the right strap, all that sort of stuff. And I mean, if you're an entrepreneur and you want to spend, you're getting a Royal Oak anyway. I'm assuming you're not too afraid of that. So,
love that. All right,
at me, bro.
Well, if you want to submit your own watch matchmaker, email otthepodcast@gmail.com. Give us a good brief. Give us a good budget. Give us details of what you wear.
Give us, make it as hard as you want. Like, say, I want something from 1975 between 3,000 and 4,500 that's made by Patek, and we will not answer your email.
We're getting better. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you to today's sponsors, Longines. Check out the new Longines Spirit Collection, longines.com. Thank you to Inglewood Coffee Roasters as well. Make sure you use that discount code. It's great. OT30. Yeah, get 30% off on Australian orders, free shipping Victoria-wide, and free shipping when you spend over $50 in Australia. Get yourself some cheeky yoga chess.
Yeah.
Thank you, Major Tom Media.
As
always. We love it. Thank you for putting the show together. Felix, where do they follow us?
They can follow us wherever they want, usually Melbourne if they know where we live. Or they can follow us on Instagram, that's ot.podcast. They can follow you at Andy Green Live. They can follow me at FK Schultz. And they can follow... Where else can they follow us? I don't know.
I think we're on YouTube now.
Yeah. Podcast. Just follow our podcast. Subscribe it, like it, review it.
5-star reviews.
5 stars. Always give us those 5-star reviews.
Tell people about the show.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's it, Andy. I think that's all we have time for today. We've had enough of a ramble. I think it's been successful. How do you feel about it? On a scale of 1 to 10?
I think it's time to just hit stop recording.
I want your 1 to 10 ranking. 36?
8.7. Just make a note for the title. Rolex 36mm watches are the best.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, guys.